All right. Hi, friends. It's so good to be back here. It's good to have you back here on my channel. And most importantly, it's such an honor and privilege to be on your screens today. Well, over time, if you've been here, I know you know that I share tips on mentorship based on what I've gone through. I also share about healing and I share about life generally. So today I'm share with you a continuation of everything healing after losing a loved one. And well, I'll start with a few statistics. Some of you, if you would like, you can please go ahead and verify them. So I believe that we all know that for as long as that we live, loss is part of the human experience. The same way there is birth, there is also going to be death. And it's quite unfortunate that nobody prepares us for this. So, for example, growing up, all I knew, and well, until about 1995, was that we have to be merry, enjoy life, and life is up to infinity. I think you've also heard people say, I love you until Lake Victoria dries up, I love you until I don't know, so many things. Nobody tells us that we're going to experience loss. And I think my first encounter with loss was when my auntie, who was also my godmother, called Florence Peace Ralinda, passed away. And this was significant in my life because this lady, well, she was, I think, rich. I don't know. I think she was. But every time she would come home in the village, she would bring me a dress and shoes. And she always promised to bring me to Kampala. Now, all of a sudden, when they came to the village, they brought a casket. And I kept hearing that my auntie has gone. And I remember when they were putting her down into the ground, I wanted to go in the ground because I mean my auntie was being taken away, but it didn't make sense then because I was still young. It's only as I've grown up that I realized that, oh, it was death. And of course my cousin, she had a daughter called Gloria, and I have seen my cousin grow without her mom. I have seen the struggles she's experienced, and boy oh boy, I wish someone used to sit us down and tell us, you know what, life is beautiful, but at a certain point in our lives, there is a halt to life. So, well, I've now learned that death is part of the human experience, and it is being made worse by the fact that, well, I've also lost my child, my firstborn daughter. And at the time I lost her, she was the only child I had. So it was very heart-wrenching, and it was just a few days to her third birthday. I believe it's part of what has led me here, and that is why I believe this is probably my assignment, because like you, I've gone through several losses. And to give you a few statistics, death happens every day. So apparently the death rate is 120 people per minute. 65 million people die every year. 178,000 people die every day. 7,425 people die every hour. Based on these statistics, 120,000 people per minute leave this world. And what this implies is that so many people out there are left in grief. Not just in grief, but in despair. And I'll again say that I don't share these statistics to trigger you or to in any way make you feel a certain way, but just to show you that there is people that need support. Because you know the depth of pain, emptiness, and the emotions that one goes through after they lose a loved one. Yeah? And we know that once these people leave us, we are left devastated. Yeah? And this is my why. Because I know that on the day it happens, and a few days following that, there is immeasurable support around you. But after that period, you are then left alone to deal with this grief on your own. Because like I've shared with you before, no matter what we say or we do, at the end of the day, it is our journey alone. It's our journey. Life and whatever choices we make after that are ours. And so no matter what loss you've experienced, no matter what support that you have around you, at the end of the day, the grief is yours to experience and yours to process and choose to thrive through that loss. Yeah? And for everyone else who's probably not gone through loss, I want to make it clear that, first of all, this is not meant to be a premonition. Like I was told before, for those who know my story, at the point as writing this book, I was only referencing my grandfather, and just 2 months before I released the book, my daughter went to be with the Lord. Oh well, my daughter changed address, and this to some people appeared to be a premonition. And I remember one person telling me that if they were me, they would not have proceeded to actually go ahead and publish this book. But well, I did, because I believe deep within my heart that this is part of my purpose and assignment. And what I want to show you through this process is that what was meant to break you can be transformed into something that instead builds you. And that is why, again, I have said before that your pain can be transformed into purpose. Yeah? And what I'm telling you right now is not meant to get you thinking about you losing your loved ones, but to show and prepare you for what nobody prepares us for. Death is but part of life. For as long as we live and evolve, death is part of the human experience. Yeah? And with this knowledge that I'm sharing with you now, my hope and prayer is that we can go ahead to live intentionally and purposefully without wishing that we knew better. Because with what we know now, we should be able to do better. To live and share our gift of life, be the blessing that we are to the rest of the world. Yeah? And in this book, my purpose and intention is to show you that there is healing and great life on the other side of loss. When we go through loss, we still have a choice to live and live purposefully. And that is what I'm doing right now. And amidst everything, my hope and prayer is that on your journey, especially you who has gone through loss, that in the aloneness of time, when you are left in your room alone and everyone around you has gone back to their homes, you will remember that you are not alone, and that I will be a little part of your relief through grief, because I know and I have experienced the depth of being alone during the times, especially in 2020 when my daughter went to another place I can't explain because I have not been there and I don't know it apart from what I hear. In that period, it was also lockdown. The whole world was on lockdown. And during that time, people were not allowed to come for burial. So what that meant is that even going for burial, if it was not for my little sister, my little brother, my mom, and my grandmother, my uncle, my auntie, both maternal and paternal, a few of them who managed to come. And then of course my spouse's friends, about 3 of them, and the village people in Ingabire and Nyabushabi. I would have been alone. Not a single friend of mine was actually there. So it is these particular people that were there, and what that meant for me and what that means for me even now is that every single day, in the best way I possibly can, I want to be part of the relief through grief of any person out there that is experiencing grief, any person that has lost a loved one. And the only way I can do that is by sharing this gift book with that person, so that in those moments when they're alone, they will just get hold of that book, peruse through the pages, introspect, self-evaluate, and make the choice to allow themselves to live intentionally and to heal gradually, because like I've shared before, healing is a journey, not a marathon. So friend, I need to be clear first of all that my sharing this is not meant to trigger you. It is only me sharing with you my journey, and of course mentioning that part of what I would have needed was this and I didn't have it. And with the experience I've gone through, if I can help even one single person on their healing journey, I want to be your virtual healing friend, your virtual companion. When you are in your room alone and all of a sudden the place seems too big for you because you're alone, with that little book of mine, I hope that you can feel my presence. But even then, that you will get your phone and call me, because my purpose is to be your virtual friend and compassionate confidant as you go through your healing journey. I wish you a lot of healing. I wish you joy. I wish you everything beautiful that you need as you choose to live authentically, to live life and thrive amidst the loss. I am here as your virtual confidant and compassionate friend because I have been through this, and my hope and prayer is that we can journey together. I love you and I wish you healing.